Hi, this is the Business Guy. We're calling this video 5 Ways Creditors Can Grab Your Assets and How to Stop Them. Yes, that's right. We're talking about the aftermath of courtroom drama, where the real action begins. Ever wonder how people turn that courtroom victory into actual money out of your pocket? Stick around as we explore the ingenious and sometimes unhilariously complicated ways creditors go about collecting their dues. Most importantly, for every means in which someone can seize your assets, we'll talk about the countermeasures. In other words, we'll talk about the strategies our firm employs to keep judgment creditors' hands out of your pocket. So stick around, because this video could mean the difference between you living a life of luxury and living under a bridge drinking wine out of a paper bag. Seriously, this video is that important. And if you appreciate this info brought to you by the CEO of the largest asset protection company in the country, click like, subscribe, and follow so you can keep up to date when new information comes out. So you've lost your case and the courts awarded your opponent a judgment. But now comes the tricky part, collecting that judgment. And it's not like the movies. There's no treasure map leading to a chest full of gold. In reality, it involves a strategic mix of legal maneuvers, some of which may just raise an eyebrow. First thing that will happen is your creditor's attorney will get you in a room with a court reporter writing down every word you say. This is called post-judgment discovery. So let's put on our detective hats and see what happens. It's like playing financial detective, compelling the debtor to spill the beans on their assets. Think of it as a polite yet legally binding interrogation. Creditors' attorneys use a written checklist and are specifically trained in classrooms to ask you every question they could possibly ask you to find every penny you've hidden away, moved, squandered, or given away to mama. Bank accounts, cryptocurrency accounts, they're all discoverable. Plus, they will subpoena your bank records to see where every morsel has been transferred. Lie? You'll go to jail. Don't think you can hide. It won't work. If you want to protect your spoils, you'll need more than secrecy. You'll need actual protection, such as a Cook Islands trust, which we'll talk about. Because even if they know about your Cook Islands trust, when properly structured, they won't be able to take a penny of what's inside of your trust. And we should know, we have set up more Cook Islands trusts than anyone in the world. Now, before we talk about how to keep a creditor out of your pockets, we'll have to talk about ethical considerations. Now, to be clear, we're not talking about protecting people who intentionally defrauded or intentionally hurt people. We do our best to avoid those kinds of clients. We're talking about pure and simple lawsuit abuse, where people abuse the legal system to get their hands into the pockets of well-meaning people. So if you have a judgment against you, here are the ways a creditor can collect from you and how to prevent it. And to be clear, you have to act quickly. Like they say, an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. So for most of these strategies, you need to put the protection in place before your opponent gets a judgment against you. One of the first ways creditors collect judgments is through wage garnishment. Picture this. Every payday, a little pirate takes a slice of the debtor's paycheck and sails it over to the creditor. Legally, of course. But don't worry, they can't take it all. There are limits to prevent our pirate from getting too greedy. In most states, the creditor can take 25% of your wages, except in a divorce case where they can take much more. In Florida, for example, the pirate can only take the lesser of 25% of disposable earnings, or the amount that exceeds 30 times the federal minimum wage. Solution: once you know this is about to occur, and before they garnish your wages, with the help of a local attorney, we help you confess a judgment to a friendly creditor that garnishes 25% of your wages. You get the money out the back door to your offshore asset protection trust, and there's nothing left to legally garnish. Bank and brokerage garnishments, the Great Freeze. Next, we have the bank account garnishment, known as the Great Freeze. Imagine your bank account suddenly getting as cold as the heart of your ex, freezing the funds tighter than a winter in Antarctica. The very first lawsuit I was ever involved in was a real estate deal. I was 26 years old, young and wet behind the ears. It was one of those deals where you make an offer on a piece of real estate, you make the offer in your name and or assigns, and that allows you to assign the offer to someone else. Plus, you can put in an escape clause letting you back out of the deal. So you make an offer, then you put the property up for sale, say for $2,000 to $10,000 more, you collect the deposit, and then you assign the contract to the new buyer. Get it? So you're basically selling your right to buy the property. Someone made me an offer, gave me the $2,000 difference, and signed the contract. The next day or so, they got cold feet and wanted to back out. They called a lawyer who filed papers and served me with them. Now, I didn't know what to do, so they simply showed up before the judge without me. I got a judgment, and suddenly $2,000 was sucked out of my checking account. I'd never seen anything like it before, so that's bank garnishment. But fear not, Social Security benefits and other exempt funds are like little heated blankets on this icy scenario, protected from the frostbite of garnishment. Solution from bank garnishment: we set up a Cook Islands trust, and then when properly structured with a safe, secure international institution, you have access to the money, but your opponent at law does not. Next up, levying property, the sheriff's auction. Ever wanted to go on a treasure hunt? Well, when a creditor levies property, it's like sending the sheriff on an adventure to auction off the debtor's assets. From vehicles to jewelry, it's a yard sale with legal backing. They can actually go into your house, take stuff, auction it off, and pocket the proceeds. And let's not forget, the proceeds go to paying off the judgment, minus the adventure cost, of course. Solution: we record UCC1 liens against all personal property payable to a private LLC. We have a third-party lender who can purchase the lien if necessary, and they place the proceeds in a you can't touch it account in your offshore trust. Next, real estate liens, the invisible chain. Imagine putting an invisible chain around a property that only appears when the owner tries to sell or refinance. That's a real estate lien for you. It's like saying not so fast to any property transaction until the debt is cleared. So the real estate lien will either stop a sale until they get paid off, prevent a refinance unless they get paid off, or they can execute on the lien and simply rip the real estate out from underneath you and sell it. Solution: we place the property into land trusts for privacy of ownership. For rental property, we make the beneficiary of the land trusts LLCs for extra protection, and then we slap equity stripping liens against the property payable to a private LLC. Again, if necessary, we have a third-party lender who purchases that lien and then places the proceeds in a you can't touch it account in your offshore trust. And for the more exotic flavors of enforcement, we have vehicle levies, rent garnishments, and even charging liens on LLC interest. It's like creditors have their own menu of options, from the car repo cocktail to the rent redirect smoothie. So there you have it, the art of judgment enforcement, along with a blend of legal strategies to prevent them, sprinkled with a dash of creativity. Whether you're facing wage garnishment or property levy, remember, it's all about preempting the courtroom with real world protection. And who knows, maybe along the way, you'll find a bit of humor in seeing your judgment creditor flailing in the wind if you act quickly enough. They won't be able to run away with what you've worked so hard to earn. Please like, subscribe, share this video. See you next time. This is The Business Guy.